hog collar when I got out of college.
And you don't need any of this, do you?
No.
Okay. We'll shut this down then, and welcome, and we appreciate you coming out today to just from the local veterinarian what to do and what to expect.
And I always tell people that's spelled L-O-C-A-L, not L-O-C-O. It's a local veterinarian, not the local veterinarian. I suppose probably the easiest thing I could do is just retire. Then I wouldn't have to face any of this, but I have no plans to retire, so I'll be around. We have had a lot of questions, and the first presenter answered a lot of those questions, but kind of from the veterinarian's perspective, we have already had some folks come in that we have not been on their farm for years, maybe. So what we did, we just scheduled a visit. We went to their farm, did kind of a walkthrough. They told us what they were doing, and kind of established that veterinarian-client relationship. The majority of our people we see often enough. We're on their farm for other reasons. That we kind of know what they're doing, and if we don't know, we can sit down with them and they can tell us more specifically. But we've been on their place enough that we feel like we have a valid veterinary-client relationship. I was kind of looking through our liability carrier, insurance carrier even sent us a form that says tips to avoid liability, 11 tips here, and most of them were covered. Valid veterinary-client relationship, you have to be licensed, of course, that's kind of a no-brainer, but maintain the records, and so all of it's pretty commonsensical stuff. We've already filled out some of these longhand. Some of our older producers are not computer users, not computer savvy. I'm not real computer savvy, but fortunately I have some younger veterinarians in the practice that are. Global Vet Link is one of the systems that do this in the cloud, and we've already used Global Vet Link for several years. Of you folks that have horses and go to horse shows and have to have a blood test for equine infectious anemia, the so-called Coggins test. We've done that through Global Vet Link for 4 or 5 years now, and it is pretty handy if you're a computer. You type things in, and if it's not right, they won't let you send it. And it's kind of the same way with Global Vet Link on these things. If you put in the wrong grams per ton, they won't let you continue. It's kind of a self-check thing. I've had some questions. My understanding is bees, chickens, pot-bellied pigs, rabbits, all fall under these if you're using anything. And I, for one, don't know anything about bees, and I don't know anything about chickens, so I might be in the dark there. But the main thing, I think, is just the veterinarian and the producer being open to talk to each other. We don't want to, the veterinarian especially, if he risks his livelihood by writing a prescription that's illegal or invalid, he can be called on the carpet, maybe not only by the FDA, but by the Kansas veterinary, so the folks that oversee your license. The veterinarian can conceivably lose his license or be put on probation if he repeatedly did some of this. So what I'm saying, don't ask us to do something that's illegal. We'll work with you to make sure that it's right. And it's kind of a learning curve. These things are not real intimidating, but they take time. And the question was, how much are we going to charge? Well, you know how you producers are. You got lots of money. We're going to...
No. Like you said, I want to retire.
Right. have, the veterinarians at our clinic, we've shot this back and forth, and I don't know what's really fair. You know, we've got our time involved, if the ladies up front are helping us with all the paperwork, we're paying their wages, so there's gonna be a fee, but we're gonna be fair. We're not gonna gouge you. We've kind of built our reputation on being fair, so we're not gonna take you to task too bad. Except when you come in driving that Cadillac, we might price Most of my questions got answered earlier. I really appreciate your presentation because I hadn't been to any before the first of the year, and I kind of had a dearth of information I got through the mail. It wasn't that awful much, so I learned a lot today. And like I said, we've already filled out a couple. I've already made a couple of trips to farms to establish a veterinary-client relationship, and I'm sure there's some more producers out there that I haven't been on their farm that we'll have to work with. But a lot of these faces in here are familiar. I've been on their place many a time. So, questions? I'm not sure I have any answers, but I'll try if you have any questions about it. It's going to be a learning curve for me too, and so we'll try to work things out together.
So is the bees and the chickens and the rabbits, that's just for production, or is that for anything? Just for pets?
Anything. They're still considered a food animal.
Yeah, even
Those medically important antimicrobials are going to be used in them. They can't even be sold without having a VFD. And for some of those minor use species, we do have a Minor Use Species Act for particular use for some of those small term species.
You said minor use?
Species Act. Yep. Sorry.
That's all right. We might be, when we come questions about bees, we might be calling somebody that knows.
We'll get his number too.
And
I don't know anything about bees either, but I just know some.
we have some beekeepers in the area that, and we have some folks that raise, you know, quail and pheasant and things like that. It's going to apply to them too. And so, like I say, it's going to be a learning curve. And look, we don't want anybody getting any trouble. Like I say, you know, the first time offense is going to be kind of a educational type thing. The second offense, they might not be quite so understanding. The third one, I know darn well they won't be very understanding. So, but we're down there at the Auburn. You know, if you have questions, give us a holler. We'll try to answer them. If we don't know the answers, we'll ask Leroy. He'll know where to send us.
Might not either. And just a reminder to all of you that don't wait until you get that you're weaning calves and everything's sick or something out there. You got to be proactive and have that in place. And especially it always happens on a Saturday, Sunday when people are closed, or in the evening after you come home or something. Be proactive, get that relationship, get the information done well in advance, not wait until I got a problem.
And you clarified a statement that I've heard several of them say, well, I went out and I bought up a whole bunch, so I won't have to have this. But no, that's not the way it's going to happen. They're still going to have the directive.
Yeah. But I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
I bought up before, and
Yeah.
so I can feed it for the next month or two. And
Right, yeah, I won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but that time's changing. Just don't get yourself in trouble.
Right, yeah.
Because it takes some time to get the paperwork and get it all done. Anything,
So
Dallas?
any questions, comments?
Well, just speaking of paperwork, would it be easier if we're able to get that offline and have our part